Ohayo! Here are some additional vocabulary words that might help you expand what you can say about your family members. Try to include a few of these in order to boost your presentation grade. So as you know, we already have talked about some i-adjectives, and here's just a few of them. And we talked about that, like, wakai means young, and then to make it negative, it's wakakunai. So we chopped off the E that was back here, the letter I, or I, and then we add kunai, and that made it negative, so wakakunai. In both cases, we would add a des at the end of this, so wakai des and wakakunai des. So those were the i-adjectives that we've already talked about. There's also a group of adjectives called na-adjectives, and we've already learned some of these, just we haven't talked about them being na-adjectives. Notice that these don't all end with the letter I. It's possible to end with the letter I, but it's just going to be different from these i-adjectives. So the reason it's a little different is because to make it negative, for instance, we're not going to use kunai, we're going to use jarimasen, which we've seen before. So to say someone's not a nuisance, we would say jarimasen. So if they are a nuisance, jama des. If they aren't a nuisance, jama jarimasen. So that's one difference. Another difference is, if we go back to the i-adjectives, to say that, like, let's say a teacher is young, we would just say the i-adjective, wakai, and then just simply say the whatever it is that's young. So sensei, wakai sensei, young teacher. For na-adjectives, the reason they're called na-adjectives is because in between the adjective and the noun, you have to insert a na. So if there's a teacher who's always being a nuisance to you, they're always getting in your way, you would say jama na sensei. Jama na sensei. So that's another difference between them. So those are the na-adjectives. Genki we've seen before, and we learned it in our greeting genki desu ka, which we more or less understand to mean like happy or fine. But it really has this core meaning of energetic, having this energy or liveliness. Kind of someone who's upbeat would be a genki person. And so you might want to use it a little bit differently there. And then of course we've learned shizuka ni shite kudasai, please be quiet. But you can just pull out the shizuka as an adjective. Another type of adjective is this verbal descriptor. This ends with this mas, which tells you that you're dealing with a verb. And so the thing that's a little interesting about these is you don't put des after. You can't put des after. It has to end with mas. That's the end of the sentence right there. So yasete imasu means someone's thin. Futotte imasu means someone's plump. And toshi o totte imasu is someone's old. This literally means they've taken years. They had years. They're holding years. Alright. The last type of adjective is these down here that use body parts. All of these happen to be ending with i-adjectives. So takai, hikui, ii, warui, nagai, mijikai, ii, aoi. Those are all ending with i-adjectives. But it has this body part followed by ga at the front. So se has to do with your height. Se ga takai, your height is tall. Se ga hikui, your height is short. Atama, head. Atama ga I, your head is good. Atama ga warui, your head is bad. And those mean smart and dumb. So the way these would work in a full sentence, for all of these, well, actually, sorry, for the i-adjectives, the na-adjectives, and the body part-based descriptions, you're going to say the person wa, adjective des. And the verbal descriptors, they're just slightly different. You just don't need the des at the end. So person wa, verbal descriptor. And that's ending with mas. Okay? The mas is already there. So that's how you can use these most easily in your projects, but if you want to get a little fancy, give it a try. Ask me if it sounds good, and I can give you some guidance on that. Just as a note, like of course, you can do eye colors of different colors. I just gave blue as an example, and you can give color for hair if you want, as another example, kami ga aoi, blue hair. So you can play around with some of these. And I think that's it. Good luck. 頑張ってください。